of his eye. Sit right down, we're gonna give you the scoop with Ryan Pfeiffer and Lisa Doop. Shama-lama ding-dong, loop-de-loop. This is the story of a guy named Mr. Boop.
Yeah, welcome to Being Mr. Boop. I'm Mr. Boop, joined by my hosts Mr. Boop and Mr. Boop.
Okay. Yep.
It's the boopinest. It's the boopinest show around.
No, it's all true. It's all true. It's all true.
Yeah.
I admit it. I confess, alright? This is Being
I
Mr.
am
Boop.
Mr. Boop. Okay, listen.
You want the true. You want the boop. You can't handle the boop.
True.
Listen, Mr. Boop is also the founder of Devo, the hit
It's true.
new wave band. Everybody
From
thinks
the-
it's Bob Lewis and
Yes,
Joe
it's
Caselli.
true.
No, it's Bob Boop and
You
Gerald
got
Boop.
it. You got me red-handed. You're right. It's Wednesday, July 29, 2020. You happy? You happy to find out that we're reading the 137th ever Mr. Boop strip?
I'm not.
Me neither.
I'm kidding.
I'm also not.
absolutely over fucking joyed.
I want to know what happens in this Mr. Boop.
In today's Mr. Boop, he said the goddamn thing.
You're goddamn right he did!
The Shadow synopsis reads, "We do not stand Mr. Boop Father Edition. Father version."
What?
And is that true?
You read the show sound. Okay. What am I don't know what I'm here for then.
I don't know.
We're just going for it this time, aren't we?
That's every episode. 4 panels.
Sometimes one of us is asleep.
Oh, I am asleep right now.
Yeah,
I
no,
should be.
same. Yeah, this is about the time. It's 11:36 a.m. at the time of this recording for me. This is about the time I'm going to bed. Or no, the time I'm waking up.
It's
This
2
is the
p.m.
time
for
I'm
me.
waking up. 2 p.m.
But I didn't sleep. Again.
Boy. Good job.
See this-
Congratulations.
Panel
see this-
one!
See this blood vessel?
Yeah, I don't need to see your blood vessels. I need to see panel 1.
No,
Panel
look,
one!
Someone tell me what's happening.
Ryan! In panel 1, we see Mr. Boop and Betty Boop sat at the chairs or whatever. Mr. Boop is
Yes.
crying. He's
Very
crying and
similar
screaming.
shot to the flapper shot from yesterday's strip, but we see more of them. They were awkwardly framed in the last strip, but in this one they're kind of like normally framed. But
They're even
still
more
in, like,
so, I
they're
think.
still like to the right. They're not like center.
I think that in this one, we've got great posing on Betty and awful posing on Alec.
I think that's what it is that Betty there's a focus on Betty in this. She's not just like there. She has a line. Whereas in the previous panel, she did not have any lines. She was just like next to him. Which is
Ryan?
why it was framed that way. And that's why in this one, it's framed so we see both of them.
Ryan Max, am I allowed to call this a feminist win?
What?
Oh, yeah.
The
you gotta
focus
describe
is
what's
shifted
going on
from Alec.
first.
Okay.
Then you can
Well, I mean, the
call it a
focus is
feminist win.
Okay. Alec is like sobbing. He's got his arms hunched. He's
Yeah,
screaming.
like down to his
Betty
sides.
is also Betty's also crying.
I almost feel like we
She-
need a name for. I mean, we can't make up any more names.
No, we don't. Stop saying we need names for
We-
names for things.
I'm not going to like. We won't. But it feels like we need one. They keep making this pose, and it's so hard to describe this fucking pose where they just have their arms to the sides like that.
It's a SpongeBob
What's
pose.
that? No, what's the
It is a
what
SpongeBob
was
type
that?
pose, isn't it?
What was that Kanye Lil Pump thing? The Kanye Lil Pump thing.
I love it.
What was it? Yeah, I love it. It's the Lil Pump. I love it. Pose.
It is. Sure. Whatever. I mean, whatever.
He would totally have the Roblox fit.
Yeah.
Dude's
And he
shoulders are
says,
just.
wait, silence everyone. Shh. Mr. Boop says, I refuse to divorce my wife, Betty Poop. Electro point.
And Betty has her arm.
We said
on
the thing. Isn't this exciting?
Betty has her arm on Alec's shoulder, and she's wiping away tears from her eyes. And she's looking away sadly. and she says, she's got speech bubble that says, Alec Electral. Let me start over. Alec Electries. We can't win this, Electries.
Sniffle. This is man versus. This
There's
is
another one for
creation
you,
versus
Electries.
creator, right?
There's another one for you, Max.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. Oh shit, there's another panel. Okay. Yeah, it's Mr. Boop. The other Mr. Boop. The titular Mr. Boop.
Yes, reverse
Which
shot.
Mr. Boop is that? Who knows? Yes, reverse shot. Thank you. It's Mr. Boop. From his position, we can see he's kind of glaring downwards at what could be implied to be Alec
perhaps
and
he
Betty.
stood
you
up.
see. Yes, he has stood up. That would appear to be the case.
It's possible.
Yeah, his eyes have
I think
narrowed.
that's a bit of a stretch.
Well,
What?
I say that's a bit of a stretch.
It's just a theory.
yeah. I mean, his eyes have narrowed. His face is very he's got a very stern look about him, as though he's making a very razor sharp point. His mouth is very, it's open. He's baring teeth, but it's very tightly. It's kind of tight. It's kind of like he's, "Arr."
I'm gonna be
You
honest with you.
bastard.
This feels like the neutral Mr. Boop face.
Yeah.
This is like pretty much
Yeah.
the face he makes all the time.
Yeah.
He's got two speech bubbles. One is just like he's framed by speech bubbles again. So one is like below him with a lot of text, taking up like half the
Yeah.
panel almost. And then there's just a normal sized one like in the top right coming from him, and he's taking up mostly like the top left of the panel.
Yeah.
And
Indeed.
then there's like a little empty space in the middle right between the
like
speech
the
bubbles.
Pink Floyd song.
Anyway, he's got two speech bubbles, and they say, "It's already over. This is one problem you can't threesome your way out of." And the second part says, "When you married my daughter, you knew full well you didn't have the legal clearance to do so. You went and did it anyway, and drew countless comics about it, damaging the brand I've worked so hard to build for her." Oh my god, it's just like this podcast
can I
is
read-
damaging
can
the
I read
brand
some-
that I've built.
Can I read some subtext
Actually, it's
into
not
this?
count. Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's not countless.
I-
It's exactly 137. Actually, that's not true, because there's at least 2 bonus strips that were not
numbered.
numbered,
It's true that it's countless.
and not all of them had Betty in them. If we're gonna, we could say that as well, for what he's saying.
So it all depends on the canon you accept.
So
Yeah.
they
Now,
are kind of
there's
countless.
non-Betty
so
strips
you
as
can't
canon.
count
There's-
them.
There's one more thing I want to point out. When Mr. Boop, the titular Mr. Boop, Betty's
Mhm.
dad, says, "This is one problem you can't threesome your way
The
out
titular,
of."
not
That
titular.
was a reference to the hit comic series Mr. Boop, where Betty Boop and Alec Boop have threesomes with various characters. You see.
Oh my god, I
I've
didn't
not
pick
heard
up
of
on
this
that.
comic.
Oh my god.
Wait, what's this? I
That
don't
is
know
such
about
a
this
deep
comic.
cut.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit? What's
yeah.
Mr. Boop?
Remember in the comic Mr. Have you ever read Mr. Boop?
No, what's that?
No.
What's...
Wait, what do you mean? I like how you
I
brought it
had
up and
some-
you're like, no, I haven't.
Anyway, is this a Mr. Boop reference?
So I have some subtext that I want to read into this. You guys probably will be
Okay.
like,
Oh, no.
it's a but I like the idea that like I'm reading this like in universe or whatever within the fiction. Alec Robbins, the comic artist, has been sued by the Fleischer Corporation, and these are his vent comics about it. I like reading that into it, and like this is him just like.
I mean, that's
making
not really
fun of
reading into it.
Max
That's
Fleischer.
literally the
No,
case.
but like as in outside of the like as in
within the
in
outside of the comic, within the fiction.
Yeah, within
kinda
the
weird to
fiction
talk
outside of
about,
the comic, it's like, oh, this is an event of him, you know?
But it is in
Like-
the comic anyway, though, because I mean, it when you
This
go
is
out
a
of the
lot of
comic
layers.
and talk about the Alec Robbins drawing the comic, it's still the Alec within the comic from that logic because
Okay,
it's
Could the Alec not married to Betty Boop?
No.
And
Oh,
he-
I
Alex
understand
married
what
to
you're
Betty
saying.
Boop.
I understand what you're saying. You're saying you like to imagine that literally Alec was being sued by
Mm-hmm.
the Fleischer Corporation
The
and
Fleischer-
made these comics about it. I think you
Yeah,
brought
made
this up
these
before.
event comics. I don't know, but I like to read this specific panel with that angle. Like he's being like, blah blah blah. We're so stupid, and we're the Fleischer Corporation, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting because it doesn't.
Oh,
It
this is-
doesn't read as like a mocking way to me. It reads like literally what they would say.
It's I think I know what Lisa's on about. Yeah, Lisa's definitely on about something. He probably got like a
yeah,
like
Lisa's
a
definitely
cease and
saying some shit.
desist.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, but Alec probably legit got like a cease and desist, and then he
I don't
just
think
kind of.
so. I don't
Well-
think he did. I mean,
I mean,
I would.
Well,
That's just my guess that I would imagine he didn't.
this
We haven't
sounds
gotten one yet.
well, but this would definitely be something that you could like abridge or like paraphrase from an actual order from them, like threatening legal action. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you are damaging the brand.
Well, it sounds like
Brr.
Lisa's saying like it's sort of mocking that, but this is
Mhm.
but it's
Yeah.
more just straightforward. Like, I don't know. But
Yeah. But anyway, there's a third panel.
Oh my god.
Are we? Well, are we sure that there's a third? Yeah, there's three panels.
There's
Three,
third
no,
panel.
there's four panels, but there's a third.
Okay.
The third panel
Panel the third.
sounds like the board.
And in
game
panel the
Zathura.
third, we see Mr.
Good
Boop,
reference.
a close up of Mr. Boop doing the Gendo pose again.
He's doing it again. Wait a second.
And
Oh,
what?
I was like, what is the thing that was said and that was pointed out in the synopsis? It was, I refuse to divorce my wife, Betty Boop. Okay.
Yeah.
That is funny.
And he's, I know. I was like, what? Anyway, that is.
he should be wearing the shirt.
And he's
That would actually
he
be
has-
funnier if he was wearing the shirt just in this one panel. Anyway.
he free speech bubbles. The first says, "You are always in the wrong." Always in underlined.
Mhm.
Middle speech bubble says, "You are a criminal." Criminal is underlined.
Mhm.
And the third one says, "You are lucky that a cordial divorce is all
Cordial.
I'm asking of you. Cordial divorce is all I'm asking of you." And lucky and all are underlined.
Yep, that's pretty much what happened in that panel. It's a good close up of him. Dramatic.
I like
Yeah.
the detail in his eyes.
If
yeah,
this
there
was
is
a-
more
this-
detailed. We got like some detailed bags and shit, and outline around his lips.
Yep.
Panel 4,
Yeah.
back to the flapper shot. They're just kind of in disbelief. Alec is in stunned silence to the point where his mouth is very tiny and quiet. His arms are slouched forward like a gorilla.
Yeah.
He's got snot and tears dribbling from his nose and eyes, respectively. And meanwhile, Betty, sitting next to him, is covering her face and leaning away, presumably crying. But they're both silent.
Absolutely inconsolable.
They've been owned
They've been owned.
time.
by the legal system.
Oh, I
They
can't
have
believe
been-
Mr. Boop owned them. I mean,
The
I can believe he owned
titular
Betty.
does. But
because-
tush. Am I right, everyone? Hey
Sure.
yo.
Yep.
What are you gonna say about
That's a
panel
funny
2?
right there.
Thanks, everyone.
It is funny.
I'll be here all week.
What was I gonna say about panel 2? It's Wonder Woman Power. Oh, never mind. I was just gonna say more about. Well, I thought because how he's like, I don't know. I think it's interesting how he's talking about how like the comic is negatively the sort of sordidness, the sort of sordidness of the
sordidness.
Yeah. The assorted, the sort of assorted sordidness of the comic has damaged the reputation of Betty Boop, which is not true, really, because Betty Boop was such a big brand. In reality, not really true, because such a big brand, and this is like a small parody webcomic. Like,
I think this has made Betty Boop more relevant than she's been in decades.
it did make her a little bit more relevant, but it also didn't. It did not overshadow it to the point where it's like, oh, Betty Boop, the guy's married, she's married to the guy, and they have threesomes. Like, maybe some niche internet community.
Every time I'm on an internet discussion and someone mentions Betty Boop, they always respond with, "Oh, Alex wife."
But it's not a thing where it's like,
no,
now people are going to search Betty Boop and this stuff will come up.
Yeah.
Whereas
no one in real life is going to be like it. It's just
but
like
I relate to this panel because that is something I do have to worry about now because of this podcast.
Yeah.
I have to worry about people looking for my stuff and finding this podcast and the episodes covering these sorted topics that are in the comic. And and my name is attached as all this stuff. This is something I've thought about a lot. And
you made your bed, now lie in it.
Yeah, it's true. You're lucky you're on a not so bad week, Max.
Oh well, yeah, I guess so.
At least you've read the other ones. You know what's in
also,
store.
I assume you're going by not your real name. Which would have been the smart move for me.
I will tell you off the record. So.
You don't need to tell me your real name. I'm just assuming.
I will say this much: Jir is definitely not my real name.
I don't even know what that is. Is that something you said?
It's. Oh yeah. So Jir Vengersky. Yeah.
Oh, that's the guy who painted the Scream.
Yeah, Jir Vengersky, he's the guy who released that really good album, Big Mac in a Small World, and then he released 2 other albums
Mac
that
Tonight.
fucking suck. Yeah. But Jir Vengersky is roughly translated from Russian into
Russian.
Fat Hungarian.
Nice.
Jir means like lard or fat, and then Vengersky is Hungarian. And that's me. I'm fat. And I'm Hungarian, sort of, like two.
Deal with it, Mom.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm fat. I'm Hungarian, and I'm here to stay.
Yeah, you've got me for 2 more episodes, fucker.
You're not doing. That's the mistake, motherfucker. You're not recording a podcast with me. I'm recording a podcast with you.
Okay, well,
whatever
you can
way
end it.
round that would work.
What, I can end
Yeah,
it?
you're
Or
hosting.
Lisa's ending
Yeah,
it?
you end it.
Oh, yeah, fine, great. Okay, sure, yeah. beingmrboop.com. Listen to all the podcasts. Do not go to the official Mr. Boop website.
No, you know.
Only ours. That's the only place you're gonna
Yeah.
find the slang guide.
Yeah, buy my album. Follow Ryan on Twitter.
Buy his
Follow
bed.
Lisa on Twitter. And don't follow me on Twitter. If you do, I'll be very upset. I will cry.
Follow my fucking food account. I just ate some Uncrustables. I just posted about it. Not really. They're right here. I didn't eat them. I lied. I'm gaslighting.
Don't
hell
follow
yeah.
me, leave me alone.
That's not
Don't
what
follow
gaslighting
me.
What is that, Lisa?
That's Don't Bother Me by the Beatles.
Oh, cool. Thank you and good night.
Yeah.
Did it.
This podcast was brought to you by the Pitch Drop Podcast Network. Like what you just heard? Support the show by going to patreon.com/pitchdrop. And while you're at it, check out pitchdrop.net for more of this and other shows.